Good morning, everyone. I'm Audrey Greenberg. I'm a venture partner at the Mayo Clinic and chair of business development. Very exciting times we're all living through, and thank goodness for alternative funding sources like the ones on our stage. Privileged to moderate this discussion today, and we'll try to leave time at the end for audience questions, so get your brains working. So the context is clear. The traditional funding pathways in venture capital have cooled. Risk appetite is shrinking. IPO windows are tight, and developers in our space are facing longer timelines with more capital intensity. Against that backdrop, new models are emerging, state programs, not so new actually, like CIRM, that we'll get into, and global family offices like Lafana, are shaping the future of funding in our space. Today, we're going to unpack where capital is coming from, how developers can access it, and what the political and economic environment is going through at this time, including echoes from the Trump years, and what that means for all of us. So to set the stage, I've asked each of our panelists here to introduce themselves. And please get into a little bit about your organization for the audience here and what we can glean from working with you both.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure and honor to be here. And thanks, Audrey and Jonathan, already for being together already for this critical time. So I would start with presenting myself by I'm having 4 years already in the area of cell and gene therapy. I've started already here in the US. Knocking the doors 4 years back. And really already it wasn't already any idea about discovering what's beyond the borders, how we go global. It wasn't just a few, not all. So I'm Ahmed Mousa. I'm already for a family office in Saudi Arabia, based in Riyadh. It's for a family named Abu Nayyan. It's very difficult to remember, but Lafana is good because this is the vertical for life sciences. We have many verticals in contributing strongly in the economy of the country from the private sector as private-public partnership, mainly in energy and power. So we created lately Lafana Life Sciences for the area of new innovation and technology. But again, we have assets in management, more than $100 billion US, and we are more than 70 years already in business. And we have more than 70 countries, 70 companies as well. So why cell and gene therapy? It's a story because it's not about the family office. I'm having 3 variables here. Number 1, family office. Number 2, global family office. And number 3, about the ecosystem in Saudi Arabia. Because it's not direct only investment, but actually it is how to contribute in the global ecosystem. So it's very simple, why cell and gene therapy? I have started already with cell and gene therapy. Keep hold already in the face of challenges because of the problem in the country. In the region already, it's sad to say that genetic disorders, which I don't like to say rare diseases because they are no more rare in the region. We have in Saudi Arabia with a population of 38 million, 370,000 patients with genetic disorders. If we can do the math for sickle cell disease, for instance, 70,000 in the US, while in Saudi, 130,000 patients. So you can imagine already how devastating those diseases. And of course, cell and gene therapy provide a hope for cure for such patients. So this is already the first one that already attracted us for the area of cell and gene therapy. The second thing, which is the announcement already of National Biotechnology Strategy 2 years back, that we would like to be a biotech hub contributing in the global ecosystem, in Saudi Arabia. And that's why already, I have started earlier than announcement of the strategy. And I'm happy already, to see that there are other options you are thinking about, while I'm saying that I would like to be bridge between East and West to be ready to still keep the momentum for the science and technology for patients. So, so where are the areas, or what our thesis already for investment in the family? Of course, already the direct investment, already multipliers, manage the managers already are there, and we are investing. But truly already, if you look for the family office, and that's what I'm going to explain, it is another story when approach family office. It's about, not talking with numbers, and already calculations. It's about what's behind, what we would like to add already to the community. It's about contributing in the economy and contributing in solving problems already in the country. So we would like already to partner strategically. It's not only already investment, to be ready to create this bridge. And I can't say already what is the ticket size because it's a variable. Because we look already not for the science and the due diligence. We look for the team, for people behind, what their mission, what they would like to bring. And of course, people intelligent enough to bridge already the culture, because it's very important. This point we'll talk about as well. Because when companies come to Saudi Arabia, and I can understand the pain. Sometimes they come, they think that it is only just raising the fund as they do in the US. No, it should create the awareness already, and create already why I'm coming and would like to bridge between already the cultures as well. So I'm happy to be there and open already for still activating this rule through this stage with ARP.
Very good. Thank you so much. Very, very helpful. JT?
So John Thomas, go by JT, President and CEO of CIRM, formerly chair of the board for 12 years. CIRM, for those of you who don't know, is a rather unusual entity. It was created through a ballot measure in 2004 that was put on in response to President Bush then saying that there would be no more NIH funding to create new embryonic stem cell lines. So the person out in California who came up with the idea, Bob Klein, created a ballot measure which would, if passed, establish a state agency to fund stem cell research with academic institutions, research institutions, and biotech companies in California. And the reason why it's in California is the initiative, which passed overwhelmingly that year, enabled the issuance of $3 billion of state general obligation bonds that would be paid back by the taxpayers of California through the state general fund. So whatever we fund needs to have a nexus to California in one fashion or another. The agency has been operating since that time and has put out, we're coming up on 1,500 grants spanning the full research spectrum, basic, translational, clinical, as well as infrastructure programs, and a very robust education program spanning high school students all the way up to postdocs and young faculty members. The agency has 85 plus diseases that it has funded research in, all the way from very rare to the most prevalent, and continues to have a focus in all of the above going forward. I should note that we ran through our $3 billion in 2020. Bob Klein came back through his nonprofit Americans for Cures and put another ballot measure on that year that likewise passed and gave us a fresh $5.5 billion, making the agency now an $8.5 billion agency in total. That money, we believe, is going to carry us through another 6 years or so from now. And towards that end, we decided we needed to focus on exactly what we wanted to fund going forward. Heretofore, it had been sort of an all-comers approach where we would have these program announcements and intervals of applications for grants across the research spectrum with no specificity as to where the money was going to go, disease agnostic, modality agnostic, et cetera. We decided that we needed to prioritize that, and so undertook a major effort in 2024, took 9 months to define a series of goals and recommendations as to how we would proceed. The board adopted it at that point, and we are now in the middle of getting applications in for various new programs. That reprioritization created 13 either new or amended programs, which will be rolled out in toto by the end of 2026, roughly. So we are very much open for business, and for those of you in California, I'm sure we've had something to do, some interaction with you over time, and very much look forward to continued interaction in the future.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We're lucky to have CIRM in our field funding these important projects and research initiatives. And we're just all want to be part of the California ecosystem. And if we could replicate that through the rest of the states, it would be groundbreaking research that was taking place at scale. So thank you for running that initiative and making a difference.
Well, let me just be clear. We didn't run the initiative. We're a political entity. We can't run initiatives. Bob ran the initiative. We're the beneficiaries, as are the patients, which is what we're all about.
Right. Implementing the initiative as it's set, which is equally important. As we all know, CEOs and business owners, it's all about execution these days. So thank you for doing that. Yep. So unfortunately, venture capital has pulled back pretty hard, as we all know. Multiples are compressed, valuations are under fire, and early stage rounds, unfortunately, are a bit smaller, and crossover investors are few and far between. So Ahmed, let's start with you. Are strategic pharma players, family offices like yourself, and institutional investors truly stepping in, or do you feel the gap is still pretty wide?
This is very, good question, because first, I mean, if we'd like to step in, so it's a kind of, for the biotechnology, cell and gene therapy, it's like a black box. So for us, already what we need education. Create already about from moving from unawareness to awareness. All what we hear and what we know, only that in the news already know about, and of course the experience of others. So, but again, already the institutional VCs already, especially they affected the decision. Because when you sit with the VCs and they give an opinion, we believe that they know very well. So such a news affects in a way. So what I can see already very important is two things. Number one, which, just to guide people about there are other alternatives that can open opportunities for investment. So first, there is already a place. Second, create already the awareness that what are the business, elements and the tools I can use already, and because there are two routes, different routes. One for the science. Every day we say that, there isn't something already, some companies drop something already. There is already some pleasant news about already, of course, the cases. So this is already, one track, and for the investment already part, it is another track. How both, interact together. So all those knowledge, actually, when we talk with numbers, you will not reach a point. You need to build a story and understand what is the science today. Sometimes I say that 10 years back, about already or more, what can already the status for the biologics and the others, of course, different, but today already, I'm saying that the new modalities create a hope that we need to learn about it and educate it. That's why it will be the fastest stepping in. Today already we don't know. So the education already is very important. And again, we're talking about globally, about already the culture as well, because we are almost reactive, not proactive. So or receiving already the news or receiving the opportunities. So now already there is a kind of change that we would like to be proactive and knock in the door and learn. So the point here already, it should be not one side. We need both together to think together and to find solutions and to find something out of the box. I cannot, think about ideas which in the area of my blind spot that I don't know. So we need really to think together to find out solutions to move forward. Again, really, I will start I say what I start. 4 years here back, I come and knock the door, and the people say that we would like to focus here in the US. We don't know Saudi Arabia. Where is Saudi Arabia on the map? And then already, the year after it was out of the bubble of, for post-COVID. And the year after, every time we see in the news, everything will be good. And just hold on, already the M&A already, and, things are going to move. And unfortunately, people keep already thinking that, I told you yesterday about, who moved my cheese. Again, really, there's someone will come and bring the cheese and will not go to be out of this. So the point here, we say, we would like to be already with you. We would like to move with the science forward. So again, it affects, back to your questions, it affects our decisions. Because when you sit already with the institutional ventures, they said, okay, fine, please, already the area of cell and gene therapy, I recommended that already to move another area if you look for your investment. So it affects a way. But in the other hand, what you need already to create, and especially take the advantage of the leverage for the change in the regulatory environment that can help to add something not only for the cash, but sometimes other than cash, which already fast to market, fast to already to have enrolling patients or getting commercialized fast, especially in genetic disorders.
Yeah, as Tim says, CEO of ARM, time is life in our industry, and so it is about the financial return, but also certainly the patients are waiting, so well said. JT, have you seen more demand for CIRM funding since the market fall off, and how do you handle this insurge of interest?
So as far as the VCs go, in the life sciences, as we know, they've been entrenching for a few years now. It was the case a number of years ago that you'd see in our space, VCs involved in the preclinical stages. That started to back off in the early 2020s, and you're at a point where it came to be that they were really only going to focus in early stage clinical, and then that became late stage clinical, and even now it's in many cases worse than that, because the capital markets are so tough that many of the portfolio companies that the VCs have are having a difficult time raising their Series Bs and Cs and whatever. So they're keeping a lot of their powder dry in their existing funds for funding those portfolio companies. So it's a time where the VCs, the pendulum has really swung away from what it was several years ago in the sector. So for a company that's looking to get funding, that's obviously something that is off the table in many instances and really makes for great difficulty. You layer onto that the cuts in federal funding that we have right now, and the lesser ability to get NIH grants or whatever, that just compounds things. So the answer to your question is yes, we are seeing exceeding demand in the form of greatly elevated numbers of grant applications, again, for those companies that are eligible in California. And so that's created a lot of logistical issues for us, but as I said, we are fully committed to funding. The board in June passed our largest research budget ever, over $500 million for fiscal 25-26, and we are going to be putting that out systematically over the course of the year, which will continue to enable a great deal of A+ science, such as we see throughout the state of California. So we're, again, please contact us. We're most interested in the work you're doing and are ready to help.
The door is open.
Yes.
We love that. Okay, great. Ahmed, what are you, there's probably some capital hungry companies out here that may want to engage with you in a family office. How are you engaging with startups and maybe even possibly later stage companies in terms of investment opportunity versus perhaps your term sheet versus a traditional sort of VCP?
Yeah, actually, it's a kind of, the approach is simple. It's just directly, direct approach for the family. And again, already, I'm echoing what the doors are open if any good opportunity. The most important here, it's about how you present yourself. For the team, how is well differentiated. It's not a hype. Don't talk only about multipliers. Don't talk only about, having just an office already in the region, because actually we'd like really to work about collaboratively. So the point here, how to present and pitch your case.
Yeah.
This is the most important, and be patient, because actually today already I have a lot of requests already for such already investment, and we are in the learning. So the point already having both while building the plane while you're flying. So sometimes it has some hazards. So people already they said that okay, you are I need it now already, but while I need some time to get the learning and to digest things. So I mean, put it already as a kind of objective while you are already approaching the family office to think about how do they think. They think first people, two already how it's gonna help the patients, get off the hypes, be transparent and put all things already because actually we don't read the detail about the science. We would like to say what are the end going to be the benefits for the patients. Already this is very important. What will be the benefits already for contributing for for the economy, of course, not directly, but so the point is very simple. And another already thing which is very important, the family offices already I mean they are connected with each other. So and the investment already it's like word of mouth. So when there is a kind of good investment or good people, we pick the phone and say that, please look at this guy, it's very important. If I have no interest for the time being, but actually, I can guide. And again, already, the specialization in family office is not that deep. The most important is about the idea. Maybe one idea can change the direction for the investment already towards a certain direction. So the point here, once you start with one family office, you will start already to work with the others as well, because there is a network. Another point which is very important about family offices in our region. Family offices very well connected with the government because of they are working together for the economy of the country. So again, one of the things that happening today, because we understand the power already, of course, of the government, and we said that it's easy just already asking them that, for the government, we need money and we need capital, but it will not, it is not the right approach. The right approach is to create already a balance in your approach between already the government and the private. This is a myth that happened, over last decades, that, if I would like to knock the door in the region, I would like to go to the government because it's easier than already the family office. No, we are working together. That's why, the public-private partnership here piece in such supporting already, your science, your technology, your products will come already from public-private partnership. So working with the family will help you to unlock already a lot of incentives and a lot of opportunities that can help you to have off-take agreement for number of patients, so you can start already having fast track already for your clinical trials. Number two, you can start with the new regulation because of there is an interest in the government to attract already the clinical trials and to be the first for the innovation. Saudi FDA, they announced already 2 years back, and I'm sure that nobody knows that, 2 years back, that if you have efficacy data, phase 2 efficacy data for a breakthrough. And by the way, the regulation published in the site, I'm happy already to share already with you if you want, or explain it, so you can start commercialization. This means already you start to get money and of course the value for the company, in addition to other things. So the point here already is how is the approach. It's very simple, but you need to know and you need to contribute and educate already the ecosystem.
Yeah, great advice, and thank you for explaining all of that. It's not well understood or known, I believe, in our market, how exactly it works, and certainly there's a tremendous amount of capital in Saudi Arabia, and being able to tap into that resource and also address the issues of the monogenetic or polygenetic diseases that are taking place.
Exactly, this is the point. I mean that, it's again, already cell and gene therapy, the door we heard, for instance, SMA, DMD, already, it's not rare already in Saudi Arabia, retinitis pigmentosa. So the entry already door for cell and gene therapy today is for, genetic disorders.
Yeah.
In addition, already for the reimbursement.
Oh,
this
right,
is very
good point.
important, because actually we are enjoying, strong reimbursement for the patient. If you talk about innovation, now we are talking about millions for therapy. So in Saudi Arabia, we have 100% reimbursement for, in government hospitals. So this means that already, there are challenges in commercialization. We're talking today about commercialization as well. So you can have the market, and you can have already, the patient reimbursed. So it will create. It's not about financial only, but again, more patients already you treat, more data you know about your therapy, and this already plus for the science. So so the genetic disorders and the reimbursement and the following a price parity already for the U.S. Of course, and thanks God already for exempting the orphan disease from already Blue Beautiful bill from already price cut. So we are following the same price. Okay, so the visible price in the U.S. is the same in Saudi Arabia. So and you don't need to have, again, already this is one of the common questions: do I need already confirmatory or extended clinical trial? No, you need just already the approval of FDA, EMA, MHRA, the stringent regulatory authorities to start commercialization as well. So how to navigate this? Sometimes you need already to go, to think that I can go. I don't need already anyone to partner with me already. I can do and commute between the U.S. and the Middle East, to achieve my plans. But this is not the right way. You need already local partner to partner with. This will help you to understand and learn the culture, navigate, create already this kind of partnership to unlock the incentive and get a step. Once you get the first step, you can do whatever you want.
Got it. Very helpful. It's super interesting. And they don't need all of the regulatory agencies, just one of those as a proof point.
One of those. By the way, good question. If you have one, you can register one of them. You can register in 6 months' time. It's if you have two, 3 months' time.
Oh,
so
that's
point.
Okay, good to know. Very good. So it does help to have more. JT, how has the funding and the budget amount that's being deployed within our industry in California changed the landscape in California when it comes to cell and gene therapy? Has it positioned California as a global epicenter for cell and gene therapy funding and or company development?
So before I answer that question, I just want to say that Ahmed is in a great position here, because when you're talking about the problems in the capital markets and how you able to access funds to do what you do, have a person like Ahmed, a family like he represents, the potential entree to the Saudi family office sovereign network as a source of funds is a great opportunity for everybody. And as I said to Ahmed, and we had a very nice discussion last night, it's a great opportunity for him, because he's really one of the leaders now in Saudi Arabia as a country in cell and gene therapy and the understanding of the space. So he's the guy you want to talk to. So I just want to.
And one other point on that, I think also, is that the risk return profile, I think, is very different. Right. A lot of the private equity and venture capital funds have a time horizon that they're wrestling with. And you, perhaps because of the structure that you're dealing with, it's not an LP, GP fund structure, you're able to have a very different time horizon on the investments and thus take a different risk perspective.
That's right. So let me get back to your question. Love that question, because yes, the CIRM, through the wisdom of the voters, is, I think I can say, the largest single funder of stem cell and gene therapy research in the world. And what that has done, and it's not just a recent phenomenon, but it has drawn what was already a very significant talent base in the state. It is added to that by many more PIs coming, their postdocs, their whole groups. And so we are in a position where I think we have an unparalleled talent base in California that we are privileged to be able to work with and to help enable as they pursue their research. So this was, I think Bob probably envisioned this was going to happen when he put Proposition 71 on the ballot in 2004, and it began happening immediately, of people coming with the opportunity to apply for funding. So we're very gung-ho as a state. We've always had the frontier mentality out there.
That's good.
If you look at Silicon Valley, this is sort of the next iteration of that. And we are delighted to be able to play a material role in the advancement of the field.
And someone could move to California, move their company headquarters, or have some sort of nexus in California to tap into.
Yes, but you need, before you do anything, you need to understand what the nexus needs to be. Don't just assume that you know what it is.
Read the details.
You need to contact us to ask what the eligibility criteria are so that you don't make the mistake of spending a lot of time when you actually aren't going to qualify.
Right, understood.
I would like to, to comment on what you're saying, because actually this is very important, because we are building our ecosystem. And just to be clear, we haven't startups in the biotechnology. We haven't already this kind of translational research every day. And I think already, one of my networks said to me, it is, California already, and we'd like already to send people to learn how to be entrepreneur, to California. The point here, already, we can work together to build and make exposure for startups and encourage co-development. And this is the point, because why co-development? Co-development can help to raise grants already from already the government as well. We have governmental bodies that already, keen about already, if you have this kind of co-development to support by grants. So, so by such we can, help evolving the science, make collaboration work, and build other areas that can have startups and the business.
Absolutely.
So this is the point, because actually, of course, we talked yesterday about the schools. It's very important. And most of people in Saudi, which is a bliss, that over the last 10, 15 years, they came here in the US, in Canada, in UK, and they trained, educated, back to Saudi Arabia, because actually this is already culture, back to the family. But unfortunately, we have the talents, but not the ecosystem. So this is already what we'd like, to do, across the world. So these have by such already, because the world now is small, it's not that big, and precision medicine, big data, you need already to push, because every patient will help for treating another patient, finding, hope for others as well.
So for those that aren't lucky enough to be able to move to the state of California, have you noticed other states replicating your model? Is there anything you're aware of that, for those of us in the audience, that would be interesting?
The unfortunate answer to that is no.
Right.
And I don't know the full litany of reasons why it's no. I suspect that there are states, let me just say that there isn't a single conference that I or my colleagues, shout out to CIRM colleagues in the audience here, go to without somebody saying, boy, I wish we could have something like CIRM in our state. 100% of the conferences, you get that comment. And it may be that there's no similar ballot initiative process. It may be that the politics of the state are such that you would not get something passed. Really, the only state that has replicated the model, not in our space, is Texas with CPRIT and the cancer research, which they created in 2007, directly modeled after CIRM, and have gone gangbusters ever since and gotten re-upped for more funding, and they're doing a great job. But aside from that, it just does not seem to come together for whatever reason. Now, having said that, if there are those of you in the audience who would be interested in hearing more about the process that created CIRM and take it back to people in your state to see if something might be replicated, it's a wonderful model, and it's unlike any that we're aware of, and a true public-private partnership that is going to reap major dividends, as we've seen in our 21 years of existence, and will continue to as we move forward.
Yeah, politics and funding are inseparable. So have you seen that impact from a geopolitical perspective in terms of the political environment impacting funding and fund flow, either into or outside of your region?
Yeah, for sure, it's like, this for sure, because actually, if we look about the science, about already the industry, it will affect, it's global, because for sure already, number one, we can see, this is the point, we can see many investors already, they are tapping a lot of, other areas. We start to see in Europe already, but still already in the Middle East, they think, what can we do as a kind of partnership to they are evaluating, but there are no, companies or startups in Saudi. So they think in a different way. They think that we can put our money together for doing something that can a platform that serve the industry. But because still we are still at the very early beginning. I'm talking now about the partnership piece, because actually for the direct investment, it is affect Saudi Arabia the same like here, of course. But I'm thinking about the partnership. So the point here again, it needs education, creating the awareness. So by such, people already know coming to Saudi Arabia because they're aware about what's going on, and in Saudi Arabia will be happy to learn and the two partner. That's it simple.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of partnership, it takes a village and a tremendous amount of capital and time to commercialize the therapeutic. Have you seen any innovative models in terms of state, family office, perhaps even patient advocacy groups or other sources of capital come to the table? Unfortunately, we don't have ARPA-H here today, but have you seen any, JT, anything?
So as a funding source, we're not the companies that are trying to aggregate what they need. So we don't know, it's a little tough to answer that question. You certainly are seeing philanthropy involved to a certain extent, but it's typically targeted towards very specific areas of science that typically derive from issues within the family that giving the philanthropic gifts. So it's tough to get sort of unrestricted philanthropic gifts that you can deploy however you want. Now, that may be different in Saudi Arabia, and I'd love to hear what you say on that, Ahmed. But in terms of institutional money coming in, that's typically going to come in through venture capital funds that have institutional LPs. And as I said earlier, that's not happening a lot these days, so it makes it tricky. It's a challenge. Companies trying to figure out how to cobble together the money they need. It really is a very full-time job and then some to be able to try to sort that out in today's environment. So it's tough. We understand that. But Ahmed, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
For the patients already, for the patient advocacy group, we haven't already so that much. Maybe already in the cancer area, not already in the rare disease area. But let's look about the behavior today. I will talk about already the family offices, already for philanthropy, and already for the patients. Patients already, they are seeking now all investigational drug all over the world to find an opportunity, even already compassionate use. And this is already part of the business happening, that there are brokers to facilitate. So when there is a problem, patients start to find where is the solution all over. So it's kind of, because of course the genetic disorder is a kind of truly devastating already for most of the cases. So for the family offices, for philanthropy there, it's about the redirection, how to redirect it into the research. Today, it is directed to how to take care of patients inside. For instance, in our family, we are taking care about autism, but not for the research, but for managing already kids with autism, to have already the kind of good environment already and understanding about their situation. But the point here, again, back about the awareness, if I'm thinking twice about how to eradicate this problem, I would invest in the research to find, solution for those patients. So for a cure objective, not just already following up and already preparing the environment for those kids. So this is already the point, to complement what you're saying.
Yeah, so in our last couple minutes here, maybe you can leave the audience with a piece of advice. If there was one thing that they could do to help raise funds for their company or their therapeutic, what would you advise?
Well, I think that you have two people on the stage here who are actively looking to help companies raise funds. Obviously, that it got to meet stringent review standards and everything else, due diligence and all of that. But I think the advice is to sort of focus on those that are doing the funding and not spend a lot of time spinning wheels on potential sources that at the moment aren't active in the game. So, and that's not easy to find. Much easier said than done, but it's be targeted, be adhered to the criteria, and just throw as much. We had a speaker yesterday talking about spaghetti on the wall. Throw as much spaghetti up there as you can.
I'm good at that.
Give yourself the most opportunity, or if you like penne, you can throw that up or whatever. Anyway.
No sauce.
No, can't agree more. Already, just to add, because every case has its own peculiarity. So case by case, I'm happy already. If there is any, idea, any already request. Already, this is already my mission. Already, again, I created a window already between US already and the global ecosystem already with Saudi and the vice versa. So I'm happy. If you have anything, any specific, I can help.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for your incredible perspectives, and thank you all for coming. We're obviously here for questions, except for JT, who has to catch his flight. But I'm sorry we didn't have a chance for audience Q&A, but as always, reach out to me or anybody else on the panel. We're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.